And welcome back to Primetime Sports Tuesday. TVJ Sports can report that Jamaica's World Under-20 double sprint gold medalist Briana Williams will face an anti-doping disciplinary hearing in the coming weeks after testing positive for the banned diuretic hydrochlorothiazide. Keon Rayner has the details.
TVJ Sports sources on Tuesday confirmed that Briana Williams' B sample has confirmed the A sample as being positive for the banned diuretic hydrochlorothiazide. Both those samples were tested at the WADA-accredited lab in Montreal, Canada. Hydrochlorothiazide is a diuretic used by some athletes to lose weight or mask the use of anabolic steroids. Pending a disciplinary hearing, Williams, who clocked a yet-to-be ratified national junior record of 10.94 seconds to place third in the 100 meters at the National Senior Trials, could now miss the IAAF World Championships in Doha, Qatar between September 27 and October 7. Contacted by TVJ Sports Tuesday afternoon, Canadian-based sports attorney Dr. Emir Crown confirmed he had been retained to represent young Williams in the case, but expressed disappointment that details of her case was in the public domain.
This is one of those matters that, because we're dealing with a minor and because there was no, at least, communication to the athlete about the B sample, that the very public revealing of her adverse A sample finding, that shouldn't have been released till at least there was a positive confirmation of the B sample. And again, we're dealing with a minor here. It wouldn't have been anyone's preference for her name to be bandied about before there was any such public finding, at least with respect to her B sample.
When contacted by telephone Tuesday morning, Alexander Williams, who chairs the Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission, declined comment on any doping matter. Crown intends to argue that the banned substance was contained in a contaminated over-the-counter medication for a cold and flu, which was declared on her doping control form.
I can confirm that we have done independent tests on and over-the-counter cold medication that the athlete took. And the independent test confirmed the presence of a diuretic, and the diuretic was not listed amongst the ingredients in that cold medicine.
It is understood that the matter will now be heard by the local independent anti-doping disciplinary panel. Under the World Anti-Doping Agency and IAAF rules, the athlete is facing the possibility of a maximum 4-year ban for a first offense if she is found guilty.
It is genuinely a case where she bears, I would suggest, no fault at all in the situation for something that was beyond her control, but beyond anyone's control, really. There was no way to know that a diuretic would find its way into over-the-counter cold medicine.
Keon Rayner reporting for TVJ Sports.
Up first this evening, on Thursday, sections of the island were rocked by a 4.2 magnitude earthquake that was felt mostly in St. Ann and St. Catherine. We are now learning that the earthquake damaged structures along the Hellshire shoreline in Portmore, St. Catherine. Now, the epicenter of the earthquake was on the border of St. Catherine and St. Ann near Guys Hill. There were no reports of injuries, but some businesses on the popular beach were damaged. TVJ's Prince Moore reports.
The earthquake unit, in a preliminary report, said the quake was felt in several parishes and no damage was reported at that time. However, since then, we have received reports of damage to buildings at the Hellshire Beach in St. Catherine, more than 100 kilometers away. Thursday's quake left cracks, piles of rubble, and holes in the ground when the shaking stopped. Sarita Earl operates one of the affected restaurants along the shore in Hellshire. She was inside the restaurant when the quake occurred.
I was in the kitchen and I hear a rolling sound from out the sea. And when we look, we can feel the vibration on the ground. But it took, I think they did have one before that broke the building in two.
She added that the damage to the building was not only from the shaking, but that the closeness of the ocean to the restaurant acted as a catalyst for some of the damage, especially on the floor.
The earthquake bust the building in two, and then the breeze and the heavy waves of the water go underneath and it start to break other parts of the building.
The area at the back of the restaurant used to be a bar with shelves stacked with liquor and waves crashing against the structure outside. But after Thursday's natural disaster,
yes, all the shelf was upon liquor and juice and stuff. And when the earthquake occurred, all the shelves tear down and all the liquors fall to the ground and break.
business owners in Helsha Beach are no strangers to climate change and natural disasters affecting their livelihood. The receding shoreline brought on by climate change is also threatening businesses at the attraction. And recently, the sargassum seaweed that covers sections of the beach is also spoiling the experience of patrons. But last week's earthquake really shook the restaurant owners like Sarita. She says she has suffered thousands of dollars in losses and rebuilding will be another cost altogether.
But we try to start to dump up stones because we don't want nobody to fall in the hole. So we are trying to renovate back the building for business.
We tried to get comments from other business owners who were affected, but they refused to speak with us. Helsha Beach is still being watched by climate specialists for the receding shorelines as sea level rises, but businesses continue to operate despite the challenges. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, a campaigner for Peter Bunting's Rise United camp is declaring there is space in the party even for those who are supporting the incumbent Dr. Peter Phillips, and that includes Damien Crawford. On the other hand, Mr. Bunting is set to unseat Andrew Holness as Prime Minister, and he has his eyes set on unseating Mr. Holness. He highlighted what could have been his general election theme. Roughly 2 weeks to go until Saturday, September 7, when the PNP leadership title will be declared. So, who is leading?
We are ahead on the canvas and we are ahead in the polls. We're ahead. And they know that too.
Ian Hales' declaration may be met with skepticism from the one PNP camp. Beyond the race, however, with Mr. Bunting at the helm, Mr. Hales said there would be room in the party for several of Dr. Phillips' supporters, including Michael Phillips, Lisa Hanna, and Dr. Wickham McNeil. He did not initially mention Damien Crawford, but eventually...
You hear me never call Damien name, right? But hold on. No, not trim him yet, hold on. Not trim him yet, hold on. Not trim him. But I'm going to say to him, you know, he's my friend. No, he's my friend. No, he's my friend. Not care what I'm saying. We are friends. But I'm going to say, you ever see when you want bad pitney? I don't care you left him in a one spot for sit down, you just have to keep moving. And you say you give him too much sweet for drink, come with it. He drink too much sweet. And Damien that, he might drink too much sweet, he need to drink some water and cool down. Come forward.
Mr. Hales did what was dubbed a delegates altar call to get a sense of the voters for Bunting. The man of the hour then blasted the JLP administration.
With all this talk of prosperity, it is still a relative few that are experiencing this prosperity.
The party's spokesman on finance, Mark Golding, also criticized the handling of the economy. He claims the policies are working for a select few.
Because the Labour right economic model is through an economic growth council of billionaires to facilitate investment at the top by ensuring that persons can get through the bureaucracy if they have the right friend and company. But it's not a growth model that empowers the small man, the small entrepreneur.
For Colin Fagan, Mr. Bunting is the one to save the PNP.
Everybody was just coming to find and talk to this new prince, this new savior for the People's National Party.
Welcome back to Primetime News. Special welcome to the folks watching on onespotmedia.com. Up first this evening, the National Water Commission has come under heavy criticism for how it manages natural water resources. It comes from residents in East Rural St. Andrew who, despite having a number of springs and rivers, are without water in their taps.
Hope from the Hope River, at least for residents served by the Mona Reservoir, which up until recently was approximately 32% of its storage capacity. The Hope River, one of several water sources which flows into the Mona Reservoir, is also the source of merriment for persons living in St. Andrew and elsewhere, much to the annoyance of some older folk who argue that rivers must be preserved now more than ever because of frequent water lock-offs.
You have to boil it. Why? Because everybody be in the river now.
In fact, some residents in rural St. Andrew question why they are subjected to water restrictions in the first place. After all, most areas have an abundance of natural springs and rivers. They're leveling blame at the National Water Commission for not doing enough to tap into these sources to supply the rural communities with water.
We can't say it's drought because the drought, if we are the government, take it straight up now. Come up here into this little community and build a catchment, a reservoir, and back up the water, get somebody in the community to work there, to help to pump the water back to the district. The people will have water.
Residents in communities like Penfield, Sugarloaf and Mount Industry have skillfully connected to underground springs for domestic use.
Where we get water from, nobody lives there. It's in a gully, and people from Mount Industry have their own spring too. So you see different springs. So we attach pipe to the spring, and it's the community people them same way have to do it. It's not Water Commission.
And in communities like Content Gap and Guava-Ridge, their water woes go back decades.
We don't have no drought. We say the spring head dry up. The spring head still active. Water running up by spring head. So if water don't up at the spring head, we should be able to have water down here so same way.
2 to 3 days we get rain. You see me, so all them fi do I just work on the line.
Residents pointed us to this pumping station in Content Square, built in the 1930s. Little has been done to expand its capacity. In the same way, the population has ballooned over the years. Water is rationed on select days for each community, but of late, not all are benefiting. Administrators of the City of Refuge Children's Home have had to fork out thousands to keep the home in operation.
On average, about probably 50,000 a week or more.
And after a challenging term last academic year, the Content primary administrators are making new arrangements to lessen the impact of the water crisis.
We have decided to put in more tanks, get more, so we can have more storage for water. So we are trying to do that. However, we hope that by providing more storage, that the water will have water to meet our needs.